Hey, what's up everyone? Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you are new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you've been hanging around here, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. Today, I'm getting a little personal. I'm already personal on this channel. I'm already personal, but today is going to be a little bit extra because I'm going to share 10 lessons that I now know at 30 that I wish I knew at 20. If I had known these lessons at 20, trust me, it would have saved me a ton amount of time, money, and stress. Let's get into the video. Lesson number 1, you don't have to have it all figured out. The reason I started with this one is because as I go down through this list, I don't want you to feel bad about your progress or where you are in life as I go down this list, but I just want you to first know that you don't have to have it all figured out, especially in your 20s. When I was in my 20s, I thought that I had to have my career figured out and then to start a family and all those kind of stuff. That didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to be. Of course, when it comes to relationship, family, and all that, I've managed to achieve all those kind of stuff. But in terms of my career, I'm still figuring it out. I still do not have a clear picture as to what I'm going to be doing with my life in terms of my career. So if you're in your 20s and you're trying to figure everything out, just take it easy. Life is a journey. As long as you are learning and growing through the process, you will be fine. Like, I'm 30 and I still don't have it figured out. I'm still learning and growing. Lesson number 2, health is wealth. This one gets overlooked a lot in our 20s because we find that in our 20s, we have so much energy. We can just grind. That is true to an extent, but something really gave me an awakening call in my 20s. This is when I had an ectopic pregnancy that I kept. I didn't know that I had an ectopic pregnancy, but this ectopic pregnancy ruptured, and because I was too focused on my work and in everyday life, I didn't pay attention to my body. I didn't pay attention to how I'm feeling until it became an emergency. I'm super grateful that I was able to come out of this emergency alive. When you are in your 20s, make sure that you are working on those habits that will set you up for success in your 30s. So habits like exercising, eating healthy, managing your stress, taking breaks when you need to, listening to your body, those are super important. Lesson number 3, comparison is a thief of joy. This is a huge one because in our 20s, we are always wanting to be better than other people. And especially with the rise of social media, you always see someone else doing better than you. So when you start comparing yourself to other people, you are just setting yourself up for failure. So just make sure that you're running your own race. Of course, you can look up to other people. You can look up to other people for inspiration, but don't let that derail you out of your own journey. Stay on your own lane. As long as you are better than what you were yesterday, you are doing great. And also just for you to know that you are enough. You are enough. You don't need anything else to complete you as long as you are doing the work on yourself. Lesson number 4, understanding compound interest. My favorite quote about compound interest is that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't spends it. Now, you want to be the person who's understanding it because you want to earn compound interest. And this is the thing with compound interest. You need to start as early as you can. When they tell you to start saving and investing in your 20s, you shouldn't feel like it's a chore or it's something boring for you to do. If you start investing or saving in your 20s, you are setting yourself up for success because the interest that your money is earning will be compounding. And this is just not with the financial world. Even in self-development or any other part of your life, compound interest is your best friend. You need to understand this so that you can use it efficiently. Lesson number 5, budgeting is not restrictive. It's empowering. The word budgeting is associated with restriction, boring, whatever. Like you can name it all. One thing that I've learned is that having a budget gives you control and freedom. Now, if you don't like to do like the traditional type of budgeting, find something like making a money list. Just make sure that you are spending your money on things that are bringing you joy, and just don't spend your money on things that do not necessarily bring you any kind of joy. So make sure that you do know the basics of budgeting and you are budgeting your money accordingly. Lesson number 6 is all about leveraging debt. So in my 20s, I got in all kind of bad debt. You can name it. I had all those kind of bad debt. But if I had known on how to leverage debt, if I had known on how to use debt responsibly, it would have really helped me big time. So and this is the main reason why I started this channel. This channel came out based on my experience with debt. Do not fear debt in your 20s. What you have to do is to understand it so that you can leverage it. Debt is amazing if you use it wisely. Lesson number 7, having an emergency fund is a non-negotiable. Life happens, and a lot of things that happen in life, we do not have control over it. So the little that you can do is to have an emergency fund. It doesn't matter how much you can afford to contribute to an emergency fund. The goal is for you to start with what you have and eventually build up. So in case of an emergency, at least even if you're going to reach for a loan or your credit card, first try to cover up with your emergency fund, the little money that you have in your emergency fund, before you reach out to any kind of debt. Lesson number 8 is all about investing in experiences rather than things. Again, in my 20s, I spent most of my money on buying things. So like, again, you don't want to spend the bank's money on buying things or experiences, but when you have the money, you'd rather spend it on buying experiences. Your experiences will be locked in your head and you will always remember them, whereas with things, they go out of fashion, or you might not like them anymore and then you get rid of them. So of course you want to spend your money on nice things, but just make sure that you are focusing on spending money more on experience over things. Lesson number 9, this is a big one for me in my 20s because I struggled with this one a lot. This is to understand the fact that it is okay to say no. I said yes to almost everything in my 20s. I said yes to almost everyone in my 20s. And where did that bring me? It took me into a place of regret, a place of despair. This is because I didn't value my own time, and time is a valuable asset that when lost, you can never get it back again. So make sure that you are using your time wisely in your 20s. When something doesn't align with your values or your goal, it's okay for you to say no, and you don't have to explain yourself when you're saying no. And then the last lesson, lesson number 10, is that failure is part of the process. And the reason that I left this one to be the last one is because I've named about 9 things on this list, and you might feel like you probably did start building an emergency fund, but then something happened and you just like, every time I build an emergency fund, that emergency happens, now I don't have the money or whatever. Things will happen. It's part of the process. Failure is part of the process. This used to be a huge one for me. I struggle so much with accepting that I will fail. In the past year or two, I have failed at almost everything that I've been working on. Since I know that it's part of the process, it hurts less, and I know that better things are coming. So understanding and knowing that failure is a process, it's super, super important in life, especially when you're working towards a certain type of goal. Now I no longer fear failure. What I do is I embrace it and I just learn from it and move on. So there you have it. 10 lessons that I wish I had known at 20. And I really hope this gives you kind of like a head start if you're in your 20s. And if you're in your 30s, please let me know in the comments which life or money lessons have you learned in your 20s. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys again in the next video. And again, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.